Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the podcast where we interview the characters of the Shakespearean play Much Ado About Nothing and analyze the relationships between them. With me here now are Don Pedro and Don John, the prince and his bastard brother.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So, Don John, you seem to have a bit of a grudge against your brother. What's your problem with him?
Oh, no problem at all. Just that he's the golden boy and I'm the outcast of the family. It's nothing personal, really.
I see. And Don Pedro, what made you decide to help Claudio win Hero's heart? And do you think they're a good match?
I decided to help Claudio win Hero's heart because he seemed very fond of her, and I thought they would make a good match. Hero is a kind and gentle soul, and Claudio is brave and noble young man. As for their future together, only time will tell, but I have high hopes for their relationship.
I like the way you think. Oh, look at that. Speaking of Claudio and Hero, here they are now.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. I have a quick question that I think all our listeners would love the answer to. What are your thoughts and feelings about the prospect of marrying Claudio, and how do you envision your future together?
I'm flattered that Claudio likes me. I think he's brave and charming. I know that marrying him would give me financial security and social status, but I also hope we can really fall in love and build a happy life together.
And Claudio, would you be interested in marriage as well?
Yes, absolutely. Hero is everything I've ever wanted in a partner. She's beautiful, kind, and smart. I feel like we have a really strong connection, and I could see us having a happy life together. I'm grateful to Prince Don Pedro for helping me win her heart.
Aw, how sweet.
Hi everyone, how's it going?
Oh, look who it is. Beatrice and Benedict. A little late, but we can probably fit in a question or two. What are your thoughts on love and marriage, and do you think you'll ever find someone to settle down with?
Love and marriage? Ha! I don't think I'll ever understand either of those things. Men are always so full of themselves, and marriage just seems like a trap to me. But who knows? Maybe someday I'll meet a man who can change my mind.
As for me, I used to think that love and marriage were for fools.
Okay, thank you guys so much. This is your host, signing off. Welcome back to the second episode of the podcast where we interview the characters of the Shakespearean play Much Ado About Nothing and analyze the relationships between them. With me here now is Sir Claudio. Now, Claudio, how do you feel about your wedding that is coming up, and are you excited to marry Hero?
Words cannot express my joy for this wedding. I love Hero, and I'm utterly excited to marry her.
Hero, how are you?
I'm splendid, thank you.
How do you feel about your upcoming wedding with Claudio?
I am very excited to marry him. He's utmostly handsome.
If it isn't the man of the hour, Don John, do you think your plan will work?
Yes, of course. I can't stand those two being together. I will convince Claudio that Hero is indeed for the streets. I will lead Claudio to his very embarrassment and betrayal.
And look who it is, Don Pedro. Welcome.
Hello.
Do you think that your plan with Leonardo and Claudio to trick Benedict into thinking Beatrice loved him has successfully worked and made Benedict love her back?
Of course, that splendidly worked. I saw Benedict and felt his presence in the bush all while we were talking. I have made Benedict love her and attempt to marry her.
Oh, and look who it is. Welcome, Benedict.
Thank you for having me.
What did you make of the conversation you heard?
After hearing such gossip in the yard, if Beatrice truly yearns for me, I will yearn for her all the same. I'm ready to not die a bachelor.
Speaking of Beatrice, here she is now. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
What do you think of Benedict's suspicious behavior when you called him for dinner?
He was acting utmostly weird. He didn't quarrel with me and have a battle of wits as usual. He was acting gentlemanly.
Ah, I see. Well, that's all the time we have, folks. Tune in next time. Welcome back to the third episode of the podcast where we interview the characters of the Shakespearean play Much Ado About Nothing and analyze relationships between them. Here comes the soon-to-be husband of Hero, Claudio. How do you feel about seeing Hero in the window with another man?
I feel betrayed and disgusted that I ever loved such a person, who would be so disloyal. I wish that I would have never met her, and I'm looking forward to publicly shaming her at our wedding.
Bye, Claudio, and I guess don't have good luck for your wedding. Welcome, Don John, the villain of the story. How are you feeling after your success?
I think that I am really excited with these results. Claudio was even more mad than I expected. Now this marriage will be broken up and I will truly become the villain of the story.
Bye, Don John. I hope you will have a great time seeing the wedding fall apart. Hello, Hero. I'm delighted to welcome the future bride to this podcast. I hear that you have a very exciting day waiting for you.
Yes, I'm going to marry the love of my life. This will be the best day ever. However, I feel like something is going to go wrong with this wedding.
Well, good luck with your wedding, Hero. As Hero leaves, we will welcome Beatrice to the studio. Now, Beatrice, we've heard a rumor that a certain somebody likes you. Yeah, I think Benedict likes me. How do you feel about that? I would love for him to be my lover, and I would take him to be my lover. After all, he is a really fine man. Now, as Beatrice exits, welcome Benedict to the studio. Benedict, are you ready to go to Hero and Claudio's wedding?
Yes, I am very excited for their wedding. Now excuse me, but I have more important things to do.
Well, bye, Benedict. And I guess that's all the time we have this episode. That's all, folks. Tune in next time. Welcome back to the 4th episode of the podcast, where we interview the characters of the Shakespearean play Much Ado About Nothing and analyze the relationships between them. What were your guys' reactions to the stunt that Claudio pulled at the wedding, and do you think it was necessary to do it publicly?
I was honestly taken aback. I would have never expected Hero to be an adulterous woman. I believe that it was necessary for Claudio to do that. The whole town needs to know how Leonardo tried to slander and disgrace my brother, the prince, and his company. I coincide with my brother's reaction. However, the situation could have been handled in a more civil way and did not have a big commotion.
Thank you, brothers. Now, Beatrice and Benedict, how are you guys feeling about the marriage, considering you two are very close to the bride and groom being their best friends?
We both believe that Claudio was in the wrong and shouldn't have caused such an uproar at the marriage, and this matter could have been settled in private.
Yes, the actions of Claudio cost the life of an innocent girl. My cousin and I will never forget him. If I were a man, I would kill him myself for a slander of my cousin and the cruelty of his trick.
Those are strong words for a lady, and thank you both for your opinions. Now, do you think your antics were necessary, and do you feel any remorse for the death of your ex-bride?
I believe my so-called antics were necessary, or why else would I have done it? She backstabbed me. That lewd woman cheated on me on the day of our wedding. How do you think I feel about that? How would you feel? I should have never fallen for that rotten orange traps. Yes, I do feel a shred of guilt and sadness, but I mainly feel betrayed and heartbroken.
Alright, everybody, thanks for listening. I think that's all the time we have since Hero has mysteriously died in the last couple days. Welcome back to the 5th and final episode of the podcast, where we interview the characters of the Shakespearean play Much Ado About Nothing and analyze the relationships between them. Oh, look who it is. Welcome, sires. Thank you for your time on this fine evening.
Well, it's good to be here.
Well, let's get started. So, Don Pedro, seeing as you helped get Claudio and Hero together, do you think that Claudio has atoned for his mistake at his first wedding?
I wouldn't necessarily say that he's made up for his mistake, but rather he evened it out. While yes, he did understand the gravity of his wrongdoings and tried to fix them, there is not much he can do to undo the emotional strife that he caused to Hero and her family. However, we could have talked about the accusations with Hero in private rather than exposing it to the public.
Well, thank you for your honest answer. Don John, what's your opinion on the recent events?
I am deeply annoyed for my plan not working, for I want to ruin the happiness of anyone that perceives me as an outcast.
We are about out of time, and I must call in my next guest, but once again, I do thank you for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Ah, yes, the recently married couple, Claudio and Hero. Welcome. Have a seat.
Well, thank you for inviting us. So what would you like to ask us?
Well, in regards to the recent events, Hero, some people think that you haven't fully forgiven Claudio. Are these rumors true?
No, they are false. I have fully forgiven Claudio. Well, yes, what he did was very wrong, but he loves me, and that's all that matters.
How sweet. Well, it's nice to know that y'all are happy with each other. Now, Claudio, what are your thoughts on your marriage with Hero?
I'm very thankful for her for giving me another chance. I would do anything to prove that I love and cherish her.
Well, that is very sweet of you, and I hope you two have a happy marriage.
Why, thank you. We shall take our leave now.
And for our final guests, Beatrice and Benedict.
Why, thank you for inviting us once again. And as always, it is a pleasure to be here.
Well, would you look at that? The two people that used to say that they could never fathom the idea of marriage are now married. And if you don't mind, what are your final thoughts on your love for each other?
Well, I ought to give my thanks to Leonardo. For if I never heard his conversation, I would have found my love for the woman that I am now so enamored with. And I find it crazy that the woman of my liking was in front of me for all these years. I was just too blind to look.
Well, I guess you owe it to Leonardo. And Beatrice, what are your thoughts?
Why, my story is almost the same, except instead of Leonardo, I overheard Ursula and Hero mentioning that Benedict loved me.
I suspect some matchmaking is in play. And that concludes our fifth and final episode of the podcast. Until next time, thank you guys.